So guys, hello everyone and welcome to the first ever gameplay from us here with game footage for you guys live from the Rennsport Summit in Munich. We are here in Munich and we're able to test this sim exclusively for you guys, and we're gonna go out on track, do a very slow out lap because as you can imagine we have done a lot of driving already in the past couple of days down there in those awesome rigs. They are all equipped with VRS and 100% identical rigs down there. So that was perfect esports setup, everyone with equal equipment and everyone with equal stuff going on and having the competitions going. But apparently, and this will be, but like you know how deep I am into R Factor 2, and it is basically first lap is the best, low tire pressures are really good. That's what you need to see here on the dash of this BMW. The tire pressures, they are a bit lower than when we came from pit road initially, and I'm now just doing a very slow out lap to try and go beat my best time, which so far is a 39.2 in the BMW around this track. It is different equipment though, like here we're on Fanatec with 3 pedals on a direct drive Fanatec wheelbase, and I'm on a Formula rim. The Formula rim is obviously familiar, the brake feels a bit different. Anyway, it shouldn't be too big of a difference. So now you guys enjoy the first ever lap with us together. I stay silent and you enjoy sound and gameplay footage, and afterwards we talk again. First gear was a mistake. Yeah, I'm a bit too clumsy that morning. So we're lacking 2 or 3 tenths. It is a 35.4. Let's see whether we can improve this. On the handling, you guys may have already noticed that it is R Factor 2-ish. You can drift slide around the corners just a little bit. It's not like a massive drift, and I have cut the corner, so I just do a cool down lap. So the tire pressures come down again, and maybe we have another shot left. So yeah, it is. Like, maybe you've seen it. To me it is between Assetto Corsa and R Factor 2 really. You have the R Factor 2 element with lowest tire pressure being really good. You have the Assetto Corsa component where ABS and TC you see is on 411, so that is familiar values. I just believe it is like whatever the car would be like anyway in the real life. But on ACC, in that car you also run ABS and TC in the dry conditions around 4 and 3. So I think in that regard that is pretty close to that. Regarding the handling, the car is really reluctant to ride the curbs. It is just like when you go over this anti-cut, I'm not going over it full beans right now, but I will show you what I did in the free practice a couple of times. Here this one is quite heavy, can turn you around. This one is flat, it's easy to ride. So also there we have a little bit like the ACC component where the curbs just like feel hitting the car, hitting the bodywork and hitting it hard. I rolled a few times over this one. Like you see it that even at that speed, the entire front is jumping. And now we just try it going again. I went over the FE curbs. Here in the final turn we had the R Factor 2 drift slide happening. So we were in a little bit of a slip angle. But the car turned around nicely. Head reactions. I've hit the anti-cup, it's a bit no-no. And also here on this specific car, heavy on the brakes, everything fine, heavy on the ABS, everything fine, but ABS and turn in, nope. Just understeer straight. That's really interesting, that's really good. That just means you cannot abuse the ABS and just make the car go turn. As you can see, we really had to wait for it to get the car rotating around the corner. Same with the braking zone up here. Go heavy on the brakes. And then for the actual turning, you open the steering. A little bit of an R Factor 2 drift slide out here. On the brakes, just release it before turn and the car goes around the corner nicely. And you see I'm on the brakes and the car doesn't turn at all. So I ran completely wide, lost 2 or 3 tenths there. Staying away from the anti-cuts, short on the brakes, and then just coast into the corner because otherwise the car doesn't rotate. Here you can stay flat out. Esports drift. Delta is going down a bit, but it's still alright. Let's try again, as we have lost so much time. No cut this time here, great. Need to be a bit earlier on the brakes. Stop the car in time. And open the brakes, open the steering, throttle flat out. You have to be super smooth here on Rennsport. You don't want to fight the car too much, because that just makes you slow. If you're like fighting like I did in the final sector now, a little bit of sliding and counter steering is alright. Also you have to quite yeet a bit on the steering wheel. The car actually has a nice front end and it operates nice as long as you're off the brakes. So let's see. Out of the turn, traction, leaning on the traction control nicely. A little bit of a slide, 4/10 up, a short tap on the brakes, and then open the brakes, let the car turn in, full power. And now here, brake a bit earlier, so you can hug it around the inside of that curb. Amazing. Car's awesome balance. The force feedback is still a bit clumsy, but remember it is an alpha. So it's far from being a finished product in any way. We're coming around final turn, no cut, to put it at 38.5. And now I think it's going to be difficult because the tire pressures have risen so much. I already feel like the right hand turns, the car is just a little bit more lazy and also a little bit more twitchy, as you can see right here, fighting a bit more on the steering wheel. So far, Rennsport comes with 2 cars. They have the Porsche 991 GT3 and the BMW M4 GT3. And so far I think that's what they are focusing on, getting a product ready that is able to have GT3 stuff coming. Obviously they are also in talks with more manufacturers to get in. So that will be something to look out for. which kind of manufacturers they're ready to take up for the games or for the sim. In general, one has to say, the Unreal Engine 5, it looks astonishing. One sees it is Unreal Engine just because the picture is really crisp and you all have that blooming in the background and in the, you know, in the objects that are even far in the back. What I have found though is that unlike Unreal Engine 4, there's close to no input lag. So, you see there's a steering wheel in the bottom right. It's just pretty accurate. Despite this is a mega screen, like, yeah, the screen seems more like a square screen. But I don't know, like, it has probably some 45-inch. 40 plus, so that's awesome. So now you've just seen I've hit the anti-cut curb, got the car straight into a wheelie, let's say. So you need to be accurate. The Porsche is taking the curbs a lot nicer, but it's also more dangerous. So when the Porsche is affected by the curbing, then you better run, because super sensitive. Then once you go into the slide, once you go unsettled, the Porsche is very easy to spin out. Regarding the BOP so far, yes, only 2 cars, but they are quite identical. The Porsche might be a tad faster on the straight, but in the leaderboard we've seen our Porsches and BMW, like effectively both the hot lap competition and the racing competition has been won by Enzo Benito in a BMW. So it just shows that both cars are just right up there. The finale was always a mixture out of several Porsches and several BMWs. A tad more Porsches, but that may be just a coincidence. Overall, one needs to say that they have really nicely balanced these cars. Obviously, how hard is it to balance 2 cars within each other? But I mean, especially since we're out here 100 sim racers and everyone is bragging rights on it, having a BOP that good is important and is pretty much necessary. Like I was saying already to a few people here, you come here, you have like a selected 100 top sim racers from the world. Obviously, Erhan Jajowski and other guys may still be missing, but like, you have a selection of really top guys that are competing for the top of the tops in sim racing, and you all have them here. They all start from zero, they are all running on the very same equipment. So whatever your final position and stuff is in here, that is going to be real. That is your real position in the world, or within those 100 top guys in the world. And I made it to the semi-finals twice, so I think top 15. I finished twice. So in the hot lap competition I was 18th when they did the selection, and then I made it into the semi with that, like the 2 top 10 heats, or like, yeah, 2 10-people heats. And well, we dropped out in the semi-finals twice because the driving standards were a bit meh. But apart from that, like, you know, it's like a solid top 20 result for the team for me, and I'm really proud of that. But speaking about the Rennsport gameplay even further, you see that we're doing still laps, and yeah, now that completely raises the point I wanted to make. The car just gets slower, but it doesn't change the balance too much. You just feel that there is a lot less grip going on, as the pressures have now significantly gone higher. But overall, over the course of the stint, the car just gets a little harder to drive, but basically it keeps the balance. And that is pretty nice. Like, that will make you be able to adjust setups and to really feel the balance from lap 1 or 2 onwards. That's really great. Regarding the setup, we do have a fixed setup for both cars, so nothing that we can say on here to that moment at all. But it's clearly seen, like, look at the sky here where the sun is behind the clouds. The graphic is really nice. close to no latency despite very different equipment all around. I've never seen a rig here, like there's some show rigs as well, but I haven't seen a single rig producing some latency or whatever, and that is really nice to see. The force feedback could still be a bit improved, like you feel some force feedback, but when you go over the curbs you don't feel the curbs really, there is no vibration in so far. There is, however, effects from the road. If you go over a big bump and stuff, like here is one, and there is one, then you get bonks on the wheel, so that is quite accurate so far already. And I think that is a very, very nice alpha version to begin with. Like, as I said, remember it's alpha, it's not even beta. And cut. There is still a lot of progress that needs to be done, but it will do the progress, I'm pretty sure. The big slogan of the CEO, the big slogan of the Rennsport organization is like, from races for races. We're all here to now give feedback. We're all here to tell the devs what do we like, what do we dislike, what needs improvement. We're all here to help developing that game. And I will now do a cool down lap or two, get the pressures down lower, and talk a little bit more about the vision that we've heard, what's going to come here. So they are 45 people currently in the development area and the coding area and production area. So to my understanding, that's a lot more what's compared to Studio 397. So is Rennsport a big competitor to R-Factor 2? I'd say yes, it can be, because there is a lot of possibilities that can come in for this specific simulation. Like, all they need is to just copy the features of R-Factor 2, like do a dynamic real roads, do weather and stuff. And if it can offer the same, then let's say R-Factor 2 and ACC, but get popular, then obviously it has a lot of potential, and honestly it will get popular. Like I've said already in the vlogs, gamer muscle is here. We got Ermin Hamidovic. We would have had Jimmy Borband, but I think there was a calendar infringement on his end, so he couldn't make it. And we have Emily Jones. We have tons of other content and media creator, like a TV channel was here to record some stuff as well. And that's just awesome. Like for an alpha version, they obviously go quite early and quite risky out to the world. So they are presenting an unfinished product to the community, but still think it is good enough to get the community going and say, look, what they are coming up with is going to be great. And honestly, if I look down there, you see a lot, like those 12 rigs down there, they have never ever been unused when people are here. Like even in the party zone, 1 AM in the morning, 12 people were sitting down there driving. So that is how addictive the game is, and I gotta say, it's awesome fun. I think also what you hear from the car, from the sounds, is awesome to hear. It's like good sound quality, very addicting sound. You hear the curbs rattling already. You got this roary BMW sound, like you can easily say it's a BMW. And that's what I also heard from the Porsches. I actually need to drive the Porsche down there again to have a direct comparison again. But that is how good this alpha already is. Of course, right now there's just the Hockenheim ring and the BMW, and there is more content to come. So I can't speak about everything, obviously. I will need to double check for, let's say, a later video. But there is a lot of stuff on the list, and now comes the interesting part, as we're talking about this being great and this being ready for esports probably. You've seen it on the boards. This game, this sim, this company is officially backed by ESL. There were ESL representatives and ESL officials around this summit. and they were involved into the communication, they were involved into the interviews, they were involved into everything. And when it comes down to eSport, there is no better organization than ESL to back this. And that will mean whenever we come to have this product finished and ESL is on it, you can imagine the public interest from the eSports side, you can imagine the interest from the Simracers side. Remember we had this ESL Map 3 competition in Spain 2019, and people on our side were all over the place. We all wanted to go there, we all tried to qualify hard, because we do know those ESL people, they know how to esport, they know how to market, they know how to make a competition, and I think that will be an awesome opportunity for me personally as an esports athlete and as a streamer, and for everyone else as well. So I think we're gonna do one final lap and make this to an end, and then we have a short salutation for you guys. I hope you have enjoyed the first ever gameplay from Rennsport, and I hope you can see that I'm really enjoying driving it. I probably still need a little bit more time to get into it and just drive it and just be comfortable with everything. It's everything quite new still. There will be a lot of developing and working going on behind the scenes. But as I've said, ESL is one of the main partners. There's BMW in, there's Porsche in, there might be other car manufacturers still coming in. So that is a really great opportunity, and that is a really great stuff, and a great project, and there is proper funding behind it, and I think that is very important. Like I said, it's 45 people working on the product. This summit, I have no idea, but just from the way it's done, from the way it's set up, from the way it's designed, I'm sure this has costed €1 million for the weekend only. So they have really put an effort and work and money into it, and that is just an awesome setup that will have a great future, I'm pretty sure, as we are coming into the final sector and then we park it into pit road. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you have a good idea on what is waiting for us in the near future whenever this game is released. I guess probably it's going to be 2023. We're gonna have to browse the news pages whenever they do some announcements on it, but it feels awesome, and I think that is very great. Looking forward to the sim racing community. It will be an awesome game when it's finished, and guys, I can't wait to get my hands on it when it's done. Guys, thank you for watching and have a good time everyone. See you, bye bye.